This video is going to cover the topic of categorization. So when you are writing a post, you have the ability to put that post into a category. So if we look at the live site of the Kibworth Chronicle, we have a number of categories which we group posts by. So if you were a reader of the site and you wanted to see posts around Dougie's Ramblings, for example, you can click here, and these are all the posts on the left-hand side about Dougie's Ramblings. So it's a way to kind of navigate the site. One of the things that you can see is actually some of the posts on the live site have actually been uncategorized. And if we now jump over to the backup site, which you guys are working on as the new set of volunteers, some articles have been written, these are all draft, where they haven't yet been categorized. So let's take this article at the top. So we've got Kibworth Village Hall, and it's currently uncategorized. It hasn't yet been published, so that, we just need to note that as well. But if we look into the article, so if we're going to click on it, now we're in the backup version, so again, it's just it will behave slightly differently, but the principles are exactly the same between the backup one and what you're practicing on and how the live one works. So to look at the categories, so here we have the article, it's about Kibworth Village Hall, so that's heading 1. If we go to the right-hand side and start to scroll down, we can start to see, and we come across the categories. Now, as a default, it will always be uncategorized. As the author, you need to pick the relevant category that the article needs to kind of go into. And it's a bit of a judgment call. I mean, ideally, we want to avoid too many categories, because then it just becomes unmanageable for the user. So you are kind of looking for something for Kibworth Village Hall and what would be an appropriate category. So the more that you write, you get used to the categories. And, there's kind of one which is a bit of a bucket, or which is kind of community. So I'm going to pick community. Now, the thing to note is at the moment, uncategorized and community are now ticked. But because and you can have multiple categories, so it could be a subject which covers community and churches. So you can pick 2. What it's asking me now to do is which is the primary category, which is the first one. Now, technically, uncategorized is not a category. So if I click on it, that will come off. And the only one that I've got actually flagged up now is community. Okay, so if I save that, I'm just going to save that draft. So it hasn't yet been published by the author. So if I just save the draft and go back to the dashboard, so Julie Harrison here is the author. So it was originally put down as uncategorized, and if we went straight to publish, it would go out as uncategorized article, and that doesn't really help. So I've just kind of I've kind of jumped in, and I've now put it down as community. So it is the subject kind of that the author needs to pick, but it is quite important. It helps the users navigate the site, and it's part of our housekeeping. So you can see an article, some down here, where the art room, it's been labeled up as business, it's been labeled up as community, and it's also been labeled up as news. So this article sits into 3 different categories. And if we kind of just roll down a bit, there's one about community and charity, and one down here, clubs and societies, community, and the uncategorized just hasn't been taken off. So, it's something that, as you get more used to writing the articles and publishing them and seeing them, it's just one thing that you just need to be aware of, and we'll just pick up as you do more articles. Okay, thank you very much.